Welcome to Switch On, where we talk all things Nintendo Switch 2. Hal from GamesRadar here, and today we talk details on the upcoming Switch 2 hands-on events, have a chat about the new console's name, and take a look back at the build-up to the original Switch's release. Nintendo knows we can't wait to get our grubby mitts on the Switch 2, and it seems they're happy to oblige. During the announcement trailer in January, Nintendo announced a series of hands-on events the public can sign up for in the coming months. The events are taking place worldwide from April 4th, 2 days after the also announced scheduled Breakdown Direct. So far, Nintendo says they'll be running until June 1st, with 2 more cities listed yet to have their dates announced. So this could be indicative of the Switch 2's release being as soon as June or July. It's not too far of a stretch to think they could continue the events after the Switch 2's launch, but it's just far less likely. The tickets are for 1-hour time slots, which for a public gameplay demo is quite a long time. So perhaps multiple games will be on offer to play, or the hands-on is only a portion of the experience. Registration for the announced events have come and gone, but there are waitlists should tickets become suddenly available in the future. Right, let's switch gears a little bit. I'm now joined by Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
And we're going to just talk over the name of the new console, the Switch 2. So right off the bat, Sam, what are your thoughts on the new console's name?
Honestly, I think it's a little safe. Nintendo's history hasn't exactly been to just do a kind of straight sequel. But I don't hate it. Simple, effective.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a couple of schools of thoughts, and there has been some conversation about it. There are thoughts of it being like a little bit unimaginative, maybe copying a particular competitor. I think we're of like similar minds. I think it's like the easiest way to make it crystal clear as to what this is. If we talk about the history of Nintendo's console names, there has been a few cases in the past where it's not been particularly clear what the next hardware release is. For example, the Wii and the Wii U, would you say there's grounds for thought that the Wii didn't do so well because it was a bit confusing for consumers?
I think we have to underestimate like how clued up an average gamer or a parent of a gamer is about like what a new console looks like. By calling it the Switch 2, they've made it crystal clear that this is like, that was the Switch 1, this is the Switch 2. Whether they can make that argument in terms of whether it's worth buying, from especially in that first year if the launch games are a bit weak, or we'll find out in April. But at least from the off, they've made it really clear that this is the successor. People understand PS4 to PS5 to PS6 or whatever. And even like the Xbox Series that we have now, like I can guarantee from speaking to my family members every Christmas that they don't understand the difference between the X and the S and the Xbox One in terms of what those propositions are. So I think by making it the Nintendo Switch 2, at least they've made it like 100% clear that this is a different console, but it has some of the features of Nintendo Switch that people understand, like it's still a hybrid console, it still has the detachable Joy-Cons, etc. and so on. So it's familiar but new.
Yeah, because I mean, looking back at another example of Nintendo's history, look at the DS. You had the,
oh my God.
You had the original, you had the Lite, you had the I, and then the 3DS came along.
And then the
after
2DS.
A series.
And then the new 3DS.
The 2DS.
Like there's...
Yeah. The new sort of, yeah, the new 2DS, new 3DS, new 3DS XL. If you look back at like a list of those titles, it's not clear at all when, one generation of hardware stopped and the next one started.
Yeah, it's 100% like it kind of like blended into this kind of like homogenized, like this is the DS family, which it feels very Xbox now, but like, yeah, Nintendo's been doing this for years, and like I think that was the first instance of them doing something where like, backwards compatibility was a consideration, as it will be with the Switch, whereas like previously they've very much been like, this was this console, now we're moving on to the next one, and nothing is going to stay the same. So yeah, it's a more modern way of doing things, hopefully, but yeah, should make things a lot clearer. But it means a slightly more boring name, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that kind of started with the Switch after the Wii U. The Wii U and the Wii being that kind of confusing homogeny, and then, oh no, this is the Switch, this is brand new, and then this one, this is a second Switch, this is the Switch 2, the successor.
And it's interesting as well, because if you think about it, like, does this mean that, like, there will be a Switch 3 or 4, like, in the same way that there are PlayStation iterations, like, or will they do a complete Nintendo and the next thing will be something completely different? But yeah, it feels like the Switch has sold so well, like, clearly this kind of hybrid home console handheld is working for them. So maybe this is just like, this is what we're doing going forward. We're not having like a home console and the Game Boy version. Like, this is just their strategy going forward, and means this isn't the last we see of the Switch.
Well, talking about the original Switch, why don't we take a look back at the build-up to the original Switch's release? Thank you very much for your time, Sam.
You're most welcome. Happy to chat Switch anytime.
Rumors and rumblings of Nintendo's then next console first started circulating not long after the Wii U's release, way back in 2012. Nintendo wanted to craft a new experience for their players, taking feedback from fans on the Wii and the Wii U, and their research on the different gaming markets in Japan and the West into account. They found Japanese gamers tended to play more on the go and socially, while Western gamers tended to play at home alone or socially via online play. Wanting to bridge the gap between these two differing playstyles created the foundation for their new experience, which in turn inspired the codename NX. Over the following years, hardware rumors began doing the rounds, with patents detailing detachable controllers and various hybrid systems coming to light.
I remember covering the news back when the Nintendo leaks started for the Switch, or the NX as it was known at the time, and it seemed like a completely unknown, kind of bizarre idea that you could have a handheld console that you also kind of plug into your TV. Obviously, it was much more elegant by the time it came around, but those early patents seemed like crazy ideas. It just seemed so alien at the time, when we were very used to there being a very clean divide between handheld and home console, so it very much felt like an innovative but slightly terrifying thing at the time.
While there were mentions of the upcoming NX in the likes of investor meetings, which were available to the public, the first truly public announcement of the new system came from a tweet in April 2016. The tweet announced the new console's release scheduled for March 2017, alongside an announcement that the then untitled Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, up to this point considered a Wii U exclusive, would be released both for the Wii U and the NX simultaneously. In October 2016, everything became clear when Nintendo officially announced the Nintendo Switch in a 3.5-minute video showcasing the console's hybrid capabilities. Heavily featuring Breath of the Wild, it also teased more upcoming games for the console, like Skyrim, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, NBA 2K18, Super Mario Odyssey, and Splatoon 2. In February, we got a closer look at the system's functionalities, alongside longer looks of some of the already announced titles and 2 new ones, ARMS and Snipperclips. And finally, on March 3rd, 2017, the Switch released mostly worldwide, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and 1-2 Switch as first-party launch titles, alongside numerous third-party titles. The Switch had a cracker of a launch, with Nintendo reporting that more than 2.7 million units were sold worldwide in the first month alone. Sales and game releases would continue to be strong in the console's first year, but that's a topic for another time. And that's your lot for today. Are you a fan of the console's new name? And will you be heading to one of the hands-on events? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time for Switch On.